the Colorado Buffs and the saga that continues the surrounding Cormani McClain will kind of put the player that's in the matter to the side and kind of talk about some of the quotes that we've heard from him once he's left the Colorado football program, and basically saying that he doesn't want to play for clicks anymore, and that's why he's in the transfer portal, and he wants to play for a real football program, and that was his exact quote. So, what is it? Is it Dion, or is it Cormani McClain? Do you think? I don't, or is it a little bit of both? Because it definitely feels like Dion is throwing shade, just like this player is, and somebody that's a mature coach like a Kirby Smart or something. You think Kirby Smart's going to be lashing back through the press at a player who just transferred out a 19-year-old kid? I don't think so. Yeah. I think that was a pretty silly decision. And look, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say I have said some dumb things that have gotten me in trouble, okay, in the past. I have. I'm a red, hot-blooded man, okay, and it does happen. But you can't be going to the press when you're the head football coach of a Division I football program and continuing this saga and continuing to put down a 19-year-old kid in national media. What are your thoughts on this? Is it the Colorado Buffs? We're going to see their spring game coming up this weekend, so we're going to learn more about what this team is this year. But we're going to go through their transfer portal class too here in just a second. But what are your thoughts here, and what is the outlook of Deion Sanders at Colorado? Because it doesn't seem like it's coming to fruition. I don't think it's going to come to more wins this year. What do you think?
Look, I mean, I challenge the Colorado fans and the Colorado program to prove me wrong here, but it seems like there's a cultural issue at Colorado, and it comes from the moment that Deion Sanders addressed the team and told them all that he's bringing his own luggage, right? We remember he said it, and I got Louis, right? So that immediately told everyone in the country, high school players, college players, his current players, that this is a place where you can come and go as you please. You can come into our program and produce, and which the door swings both ways. That also means that you can leave at any time, and you're not building something based on respect. You're not building something based on wanting to help players get better and develop players. It's not about that. It becomes about Deion, and it becomes about the Colorado program, and not as much about the players. And how do you think the players feel when they're in a program like that, right? So I think that there is a cultural issue there that is pretty prevalent, and Colorado can't really get around that, right? There's no going back now. They are what they are. They're transfer portal U. They will continue to get players out of the transfer portal, and they'll continue to have a crappy culture. That's what they are right now. Now, whether or not they win an extra game or two this year than they did last year, who knows? But long term, this isn't a program. This isn't a style that is going to win you a national championship down the road. So I'm not a Colorado hater. I enjoyed the story last year. I like the thought of Deion Sanders as a coach, but in hindsight, looking at it, I think that that's how this thing has unfolded. I think that there was no plan in place to create a sound, stable culture, and it's showing now. But nobody's really talking about that. Nobody wants to have those conversations except for us here on the First and Long college football show. Nobody wants to discredit Deion Sanders in any way, and I just don't get that. I think it's fair to do. He's a public figure. He's a head football coach, and I don't think he's doing a very good job of maintaining his roster and keeping a sound culture at the program in Colorado.
Yeah. Yep. And as far as Cormani McLean goes, he claims he's got good grades, and I don't know. I don't know who's telling the truth here. Only time's going to really tell, and time will tell on this situation. We're going to see Cormani McLean at another school, and we're going to see how things go. And I hope things go well for him, and I hope things go well for
And
Dion. But it certainly does seem like things are sliding downhill right this second.
right, and he was asked by a reporter about people leaving. Dylan Edwards, their star running back from last year, he's also in the transfer portal. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, they're losing some key players, right? But when Dion was asked, he said, "Hey, what did we lose? What did we lose? Have you seen practice?" And of course, nobody's really watched them practice, so they don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. And he's like, "We're good." So maybe
Mhm.
if you take him at face value there, maybe they've got a decent roster and they've developed their players properly. But if they come out and lay an egg this next year, we'll know that they haven't been doing their homework.
Well, yeah, and as you can see right there, they are now ranked 6 in the portal class with 29 commitments. And you can see there that Texas A&M is kind of taking a page out of that playbook as it's the first year with their head coach Mike Elko, and I think that what Texas A&M has done there, I think you're going to see a lot more of that. That's going to happen a lot more whenever you have coaching turnover. But this is Colorado's second year of doing this. Didn't take quite as many this year, but 29 is a lot of players to get through the portal whenever you consider that you've got a certain amount coming in spring and summer through high school ranks as well. So just really, they got a lot of players coming in. We're going to take a look at some of them here, and you guys be the judge. I'd like you to tell me in the comment section what you think about the transfer portal class that we're about to go over here for the Colorado Buffaloes. It doesn't seem like something that's going to, in my opinion, produce a whole lot of extra wins for the Buffaloes this year. But as I said, give me your opinion on it here, and we'll kind of just go through them as they're ranked by 24/7 Sports. Um, you got Quincy Wiggins coming over from LSU. So anytime you see somebody coming over from a team like LSU, you think, okay, well that's a very established program and somebody that maybe can help out. So a big body there on the defensive line, and I think that that's a good thing. Will Shepard coming from Vanderbilt. He's been there, and we'll probably see him, I guess, in the spring game. That is a very good wide receiver to add to the mix there. But as you can see, the number one overall ranked player that has either come or gone from Colorado was Cormani McLean that we spoke about just a few minutes ago. That's obviously a big blow because it's somebody that you definitely had a lot invested in. And that was the big flip from 2023 that everybody was so excited about on signing day. We'll kind of keep going here. As you can see, that's Dylan Edwards there. Mason just spoke about that just a few minutes ago. Dylan Edwards has popped into the transfer portal. 5'9", 170 pounds. That seems a bit slight, but nonetheless, we all saw that he was definitely a playmaker in what I thought was one of the worst offensive lines in all of the country last year. Was the one that he played behind for the Buffs. What have you heard anything about Dylan Edwards and where he might be going? Um, uh, isn't he a Florida boy?
You
I could look
I
real quick.
I just heard where he might be going. Nebraska, I think was
I
one
did hear that.
that
Yeah,
was that popped up. Him and Raiola. He just
I
wants to
heard
go
Texas A
somewhere.
and M too. I think right.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he just wants to be somewhere where he's utilized more as a running back, and Colorado's just not the place. With that offensive line, they've got a lot to overcome, even with adding you know some of these players that they have. I think that I think that there's a big hill to climb there for that offensive line, and I just don't know that you get that in the transfer portal. They did go out and um, get the number one overall offensive tackle. In high school, is he going to be able to produce as a true freshman? Probably not. Not at an elite level. He'll go out there and start at Colorado, but and he'll be fine probably in the Big 12. But I don't think that he would be ready to start on a championship program, if that makes sense. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's the whole question mark with this program at this point is can they develop? And if we see a freshman come out there and produce, maybe that answers our question for us a little bit. Maybe they can develop, but we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen development at Colorado yet for really any players. Anybody that's has started off there young has already left, and we have a small sample size, so we'll have to just kind of wait and see on that stuff. But Dylan Edwards leaving. This was a guy that Deion Sanders spoke a lot about last year and had a lot of eggs in that basket. This was one of his favorite go-to players on that offense, and now he's gone. So it will certainly be very interesting to see how that works out. You can see a lot of Big 12 teams that they're pulling talent from. Other Big 12 teams, teams that they're going to be playing this year. You see Cincinnati on your screen, Arizona State, Houston, all guys coming over to Colorado. Probably making a little bit of money doing that for those guys. So that's good for them. Excuse me. Just a few other guys here. I mean, we're kind of getting to the point in the class where it's for most championship caliber teams, these guys would just be depth pieces, right? And don't get me wrong, these are going to be guys that you see play on Saturdays, but not guys that you're saying, "Oh yeah, hey, I know him. I mean, these are not household names here, and just not enough. I see another interior offensive lineman there, and Justin Mayers. That's good. Got to keep building the lines of scrimmage up. Another interior offensive line. He might be inferior. I don't know, but that's not what IOL stands for right there. But my point is, this isn't going to get it, man. This ain't going to get it. And, we're going to get out ahead of this thing right now. Probably 4 wins for Colorado this year. And then Deion Sanders is going to be gone, y'all. He's going to leave. He's not going to be there a couple more years. Soon as these Sanders boys are out of the program and into the NFL, he will be gone. He's a team mom. He's not a head coach. I don't know any other way to put that. Any thoughts on this, Mason? I just don't see how they're turning water into wine here with this team this year.
Looking at their schedule, they got North Dakota State, Nebraska, Colorado State, Baylor, UCF, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State. It's the Big 12.
Those last 5 or 6, you said they'll lose every one of them.
Yeah. Realistically, they could lose their last 8 games and win 3 of the first 4. I'm not saying they will. I don't know if what is their win total? Wasn't it 5.5? I could see 5.
Something like that.
I could see 6. We'll just have to see. I think that this is a program I'm very much up in the air on. Overall, this couple of really good playmakers, but a talent of or a roster full of talent that doesn't gel together and doesn't really play in unison isn't going to get you very far.